See, everybody deals with their pain, whether they deal with it right or wrong. And I use the family of David, King David, because David was his family was highly dysfunctional. And David had tremendous pain. A lot of people say, well, what was David's pain? Well, it started with, out of 8 boys, Jesse, his father, had 8 boys. And when Samuel the prophet came to his home to anoint a king, he was the only one. He wasn't even considered. He was the only one that his father thought he could never be king. Mm-hmm. So he kept him in the sheep pen. Then his brother, when he came to the battle line, his brother rebuked him. He didn't have a positive role model in his life. King Saul, after he killed Goliath, tried to kill him. So David didn't have a positive role model in his life, and he was used to sitting by himself, writing psalms and, visiting with the Lord. But his family, you look at David's family, the way that they dealt with pain. And there's 3 ways that people deal with pain when you don't deal with it properly. You medicate it, you motivate it, or you meditate it, okay? Medicating means you drink, you take drugs, sex. You do something that feels good, that for the minute makes pain go away. Well, see, David had sexual problems. His family, the boys in his family had sexual problems. Solomon had 1,000 wives. And you have problems when you have 1,000 wives. 200 or 300 wives is not a problem. 1,000, that's a problem. So, but David, remember, had multiple wives, and Bathsheba came along. He already had multiple wives. And he not only slept with Bathsheba, and he had scoped her out, So as soon as her husband went to battle, he brought Bathsheba over. Then he killed her husband. And his addiction was to the point that multiple wives couldn't satisfy him, and he would go to the point of murdering someone to cover it up. See, the issue's never the issue. To an alcoholic, alcohol's not the issue. To a drug addict, drugs aren't the issues. Pain's the issue. And when a person goes to Alcoholics Anonymous, the first thing they say is fess up. Talk about that pain. They have these T-shirts that says, denial is not a river in Egypt. You've got to stop denying the pain, because the reason that you're medicating, the reason that you're looking for something that feels good is just for this moment. It makes my pain go away. The pain
do you
keeps coming
think
back.
People are not aware that they have that pain pocket, though? I mean, do you think, you seem like you were aware of something was going on, and yet when Karen would ask you, you'd say it's not, and no, I don't have it. Do you think that these pockets of pain are blind spots to people, or you think they know it and they're just holding on to it and they don't want to talk about it? What's the deal?
Well, there are meditators. A medicator is in denial. Okay, they literally have shoved it back. Mm-hmm. It's like in the basement. The pain's in the basement, and they're trying to keep doing something that makes that pain keep it at bay. Mm-hmm. But they are in denial. But the meditators, like Absalom. See, Absalom was a good kid, and his brother violated sexually his sister. His half-brother violated his sister, and David did nothing about it. See, Absalom didn't start out being this guy trying to kill his dad. Absalom started out as a good kid, but his sister was raped, and then David did nothing for a couple of years. Never had a family meeting, never addressed anyone, not an apology, not a trial or anything. So finally, when he kills his half-brother Amnon, it's been after a couple of years, nothing being done. Then he has to flee to another country. David does nothing. There has to be this little drama that goes on to get Absalom back. Then Absalom comes home, sitting out the back door of the palace. David won't talk to him. Finally, he has to burn down a field to get somebody to come talk to him. Then he becomes Absalom. And Absalom's a meditator. And this is a person who's stewing on it. They've been thinking about it forever. For these people, they're not in denial. They live in their pain every day. These people are mad. They know exactly why they're mad. They remember everybody that made them mad, and they don't forgive. So
and that pain grows.
You bet. Yeah. Well, an angry drunk is a medicator and a meditator. They're medicating and meditating at the same time. Well, then there's the motivator. See, Solomon was a motivator. See, Solomon had to kill his brother to become king. And you say, well, why would Solomon have pain? His parents were David and Bathsheba. He was like on the front page of the National Enquirer every week. So Solomon had this, his family was highly dysfunctional, had to kill his brother to become king. All of these things. Well, what did Solomon do? He never stopped. He was the ultimate overachiever. In the book of Ecclesiastes, at the end of it, he says, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. He just lists all of his accomplishments. He says, it's vanity and striving after wind.
Emptiness.
See, because when you stop, that's when the ghosts show up. When you're a motivator, and this is what I was, with the pain in my life, I didn't medicate it, and I wasn't angry. I couldn't stop. I didn't know why I couldn't stop. As a pastor, I couldn't stop. And I could talk to God about business. I could talk to God about the church, my family, all those kind of things. But see, God, that book Boundaries, has never read that book, because he doesn't. He comes right up in the middle of your cereal bowl, puts his finger in it, and stirs. He wants to talk about what he wants to talk about. He doesn't want to talk. He doesn't small talk. God doesn't talk about the weather. He doesn't talk about that kind of stuff. He wants to talk about the inside of us. And what I knew about God is if I ever got quiet in the presence of God, He would bring those things up. And Karen kept telling me, "You've got pain in there, Jimmy, that hadn't been dealt with." And I kept telling Karen, "No, I don't." But when I sat down in the presence of the Lord, He would begin to touch those areas of my life. And the fifth emotional reality of life is you'll never resolve pain until you turn it to God. The medicating doesn't work. The motivating doesn't work. The meditating doesn't work. All those things perpetuate the pain in our lives and keep that hurt pocket full. But Jesus said something very interesting, and this is in Matthew 5:4. And Jesus said, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted." Now, you guys know, you've been all over the world helping people, and you know that there are a lot of people in grief that are not being comforted. You know, because when you read that on first glance, it's kind of like, I don't know that I completely agree with that, because, you know, blessed are those who mourn, for they'll be comforted. Well, let me give you another translation of that, or a paraphrase. Jesus, what He was saying is, blessed are those who bring their pain to me, I'll heal it.